Guys, welcome to the Men's Conference, episode 21. It's been a while since we actually shot an episode. It's been over a month now. And of course, my name is DC, and I'm joined by my cool, awesome brother, twin brother, of course. And for those people that are wondering, are they actually twins? Yes, we are. We're actually twin brothers, from the same mother, same womb. And definitely, I hope you're okay. Hope you're fantastic.
Doing fantastic, bro. Can't complain. Just disappointed with the amount of complaints we have online about men always complaining about, no, my girlfriend this, my girlfriend that. Bruh, the thing I should only be hearing from you is that I need to self. How can I be a better version of myself? How can I self-improve? How can I move on to the next level? That's what I want to hear.
Exactly, because we're tired of hearing men always say, no, my girlfriend did this to me. My girlfriend cheated on me 10 times. Bro.
You end up finding out it's just 21. And bruh, you're so
Exactly.
young.
You're still young. You've got your life. You've got a very long way to go as a 21-year-old person. There's so much you can do other than focusing on girls. I'm not saying that women are bad. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that as a man, you need to focus on your goals, and the women will focus on you. So definitely that's what the podcast is all about. We're actually here to help you guys because we've noticed that you guys have become weak. Simps, of course. You're out there on social media crying, going live and crying on social media.
Do you know how much anger I have when I see a guy crying like that? I feel like I can just, if he was right in front of me,
slap him. Like, wake up. What's wrong with you? So of course this is a podcast to help men out there, and we're definitely joined by two lovely ladies. Beautiful ladies, women in the building.
Thank you.
Yes, I hope you ladies are fantastic.
Great. I'm great. I'm good. Yeah.
And I'm fantastic as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm good.
And Karen, this is actually your second time appearing here, right?
Yeah, it is after quite a very long time, but I'm happy to be here.
But I want to ask a question. Do you think I look good with glasses on?
No.
Cool glasses out.
You look average, bro. Average, bro.
I don't need your opinion. Just them. So without glasses.
Yeah. You're cool like that.
Oh, okay. Thanks. But how's this is your second episode here?
Yeah, it is my second episode. Last time we went, is it Eben Messiah?
Yeah.
I had a great time, so I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, a lot of men and women came for you on that
No,
discussion.
it's the men, not the women.
But even most
mostly
women, even most women actually came for you, saying, "No, you don't know where we come from. So why should we start making our own money?"
To be honest,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you were reading the comments.
No, I was.
It was a few.
Yeah.
I don't know why the subject of money is quite touchy to people. I mean, money drives the world, so let's have that discussion.
The reason why it's touchy, I believe, is because it's mostly hard. It's mostly like hard to obtain, I should say. So it feels like it's a far-fetched dream. So for you to say, women, you're supposed to make this much money, that's how men are going to respect you. So most women are like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's hard, I've tried.
And especially if it's women that use their beauty as a weapon to, kind of leverage men in terms of, if you want this, you gotta spend money on it. So those who've been used to that lifestyle can't really imagine, working.
9 to 5.
Yeah, exactly. They can't imagine them doing that and all that
opening a business and all that stuff. So it's crazy. You didn't introduce yourself to the people. You'd like to know who you are again.
Sure. All right. My name is Azariah. You can find me on Facebook, which is Azariah Z now, and you can find me on TikTok, which is Training with Azariah, or you can call me AZ, my auntie. I like to say that on my auntie of this generation.
Yeah. No, we need that.
Sure. So I'm here because we have important things to discuss.
Of course.
Hopefully on our side.
As an auntie.
Hopefully.
No, I'm an auntie. So as an auntie, I don't take sides. I'm sure he knows. You know. I'm sure by now.
But I'm praying that you're on our side.
No, yes. I don't take sides.
You're supposed to be on our side.
I'm an auntie, so I take both.
Okay, we'll see.
Very unbiased. Right. I hope. Okay, so my name is Karen now. I never really know what to put in my introduction, to be honest, but I'm a journalist for those that may know. I'm also a model. I think that's just about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But how's been your week like?
My week has been good. Work here and there. It's quite a bit busy, but it's been okay, manageable.
Okay. Azariah?
Great. As you know, hustlers. So we are here, we are there, but money has to come in.
Yeah.
I'm all about money. So when you see me, I'm always chasing money.
Yeah.
Ain't we all?
Even after, sorry?
Like, ain't we all?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess everybody has to chase money.
Of course, everyone has
So
to
we are
chase
ever
money.
busy.
Yeah, it's important to be busy as a human
It
being.
is important to be busy.
More especially as a man, guys. You need to be busy. You can't be seated on your. Yeah, you can't be seated.
Busy doing the right things. I think being precise. Is
No, of course. Us men are always doing the right things in life.
What are the right things in life?
Being productive, self-improvement, making sure that our women are respected, provided for, making sure that our children have eaten, are clothed, and basically protecting our family. That's the right things that men should do, and men are doing.
Okay.
And we're teaching men to do the right things in their family, because we've noticed that so many dysfunctional families out there, more especially in this generation. And who do they look to? They look to the man, to make sure that things are placed in order. If the family is dysfunctional, who do they blame? The man. If food is not provided on the table, who do they blame? The man, right? So this is what, of course, I mean, why are you giving me that eye? You're giving me that suspicious look. I know. No, it's just a basic trait, because what they always say that men are the providers, right? They never say that men are the submitters. They say men are the providers. So it doesn't matter who's making money, whether it's a woman making money, as long as it doesn't matter whether the woman's making money.
Hold on a second, just there.
Okay.
So if men are the providers, but let's say, for example, in a household where me as a woman, I'm the only one who's maybe providing at that particular time or moment. Are you still the provider?
I mean, I should be. I'm not the provider at that moment, but
you are not
I should
providing
be.
in that moment.
Yeah.
So are you the provider?
No, I'm not the provider, but I should be the provider, because a lot of people out there are expecting me to provide, whether you're making more money than me. There's that term. Sorry, there's that term where they say a woman's money is her money and a man's money is our money, right? So meaning the woman gets to spend her money however she feels like, but a man can never do that, because in his head he's thinking, I need to do this for my woman. I need to buy clothes, pay school fees for my children. I need to sort out house bills and whatnot, right? So it's very difficult for a man to sit back and say, okay, since my woman is providing, my woman's got more money than me, let me just be a potato and sit. It's rare that a marriage or a relationship lasts until they die if the woman is the one that's providing. This is why we have to educate a lot of men to sit up and work hard. You wanted to say something?
Because eventually women will get fed up. She might, endure it for a little while, but if she realizes that this guy is not working towards like having his own money to put in the family, she's eventually going to get bitter.
Yeah.
I know that, because it's only necessary for a woman to provide, to be a provider if she's a single mother. I know that. But if a man's involved, it's compulsory that he's supposed to at least have money.
Right. Okay. Also, it depends on the situation, really, because sometimes you'd find that maybe you are just laid off of work, something like that, or maybe just you lost your job or something. There's something maybe you're waiting for to be called and things like that. That's understandable. Like you are doing something, right? But then it's just not there at the moment. But then if you as a man are comfortable with me as a woman, your woman maybe working alone, providing, yes. At some time, I'm also going to get tired and say like, okay, yes, I'm doing all of this, but what are you doing? So maybe, let's say for example, also in as much as you're waiting maybe to be deployed or whatever it is, you're looking for employment, do something in the meantime. Like, get your hands on whatever it is you can do, so you can also just help out. But if I'm doing everything by myself and I'm not seeing you working towards like, trying to help out in any way, I'll just assume to like, what, you're comfortable with me being the provider, doing everything by myself, because in as much as I could be working and bringing in all the money, I'm still your wife and I still have to do the chores at home also. I have to do my wifely duties. But what are you doing as a man? So maybe those are some of the reasons why at the end of the day, women would also get frustrated, say like, why am I doing everything by myself? What are you doing in the process?
Just to add to what you're saying, in this generation, I feel like there are certain things that kind of seem like to have normalized. There are some men who are very comfortable to be looked after by women financially, which is not supposed to be the case. And like you said, it creates a certain dynamic within the home, whether in a relationship or in a home, it creates a certain dynamic. And it goes back to the discussion we had last time where I was saying, if a woman is a provider, like she's taking all the responsibilities on her back. She's the father, she's the mother, she's feeding everybody, including the husband. Number one, there's a loss of respect because she starts looking at you as a dependent. Number two, she starts getting more masculine. You know what I mean? Like, because she's wearing she's wearing the pants in the relationship, and she starts living more in a masculine energy than her feminine energy. That's the reason why she's coming from home. She's coming from work, she's done all the jobs, and then she comes back home, she's putting in more work as well. So she starts to feel like, I'm the man. And you can't see that sweet side of a woman, because when a woman is taken care of, or she has less responsibilities in terms of finances, especially, we become a bit more softer because you're pampered, you're taken care of, and there are just those things that you flow into naturally, and it brings out this, But a woman who's working all the time, at home you're working, at work you're working, you kind of start looking, you have less time, for yourself, because you know that bills have to be paid. I don't have anyone else. It is only me. I'm not going to look at anyone else to come in, It's only you and your kids and that husband who's more like a dependent. So that dynamic is kind of like lost.
Do you know why we have situations like that where women are the ones working but the guys are usually doing nothing? It's because how you guys got together was probably the problem, the issue. Because usually people use emotions to start dating rather than using logic. First of all, you're supposed to ask yourself a question like, does this guy really have ambition? Does he have anything going for him? Let me ask him a few questions, let me find out. And if there's nothing really going for him...
No, it's the truth. What he's saying...
Sorry. There's something, he's saying how you met. I'll tell you, have you ever met people who are so sweet, so smart, and you think they have their things together? You know what I mean? This hasn't happened to me, but I've seen that happen to some people that I know, where they meet a guy, even when they introduce to you, this guy has even borrowed a car, he's coming with a Hilux, he's busy, he's got programs. But when you find out the truth, you find he's doing nothing, literally. All the things that he's coming with are borrowed from friends. The concepts that he's talking about are borrowed from friends, and it's too late. Imagine you're already pregnant for this person. So if you say it's how you got together, somewhat, especially in Lusaka. I don't know about the other provinces, guys. Okay, but Lusaka is a bit... Lusaka is just something else.
This is what I'm saying. You need to vet them.
Smart, even in their head. Smart.
Sorry, not to cut you short, but just to come in on where you say where you'd actually, by the time you're realizing who this person is, you'd already be pregnant for them.
Yeah.
How much time are we talking about?
Exactly.
In some situations, but of course from the people that I know, they never got to that point of pregnancy, right? But they had invested in emotions and stuff.
But how much time really would it take for you to also know who this guy really is before you actually realize?
Honestly, I don't know, because that didn't happen to me. It happened to people I know, like I mentioned, and there are instances where somebody has even dated someone for over a year. So let me give you a funny story.
That's a short 1 year, and then you want to get pregnant for this guy. You're supposed to vet the guy. Vet the guy.
So listen, let me explain to you.
You don't know his family background.
Okay, let her talk.
Let me explain to you scenario how it happened, right? So they meet with this guy. You know how it is in Lusaka. People meet for different reasons. Another person stays in Charleston. No, wait, Karen. And they meet.
Yeah.
And during weekdays, people are busy. This person is going for work. The other person is going for work. And this man used to say he works for an NGO. You know how NGOs operate, right? Kulabati, you go out in the field trips and whatever. So you tell no, I'm not around right now. I've gone for a field trip. Shanshan to go, and when he has time, they'll meet. Sometimes you even visit the person's house, And she believed that was a lifestyle that was revolving around this man, because he would even take photos. He would go Papa Mo's when there's, he would dress up, but go for these workshops. He's not going to the workshop just to linger around the vicinity. When people are out for lunch, he will stand there. Maybe there's a famous person, take photos, send to the girlfriend. Today we had a very successful meeting. That's why I'm saying, do you guys live what?
But in that situation, that's just an exception.
No,
because
anyone who's watching him, Haven't you heard these stories before? Haven't you experienced these things before? This is not
That's extra.
an isolated incident.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, there's like a cartel underneath in Lusaka. And then by the time you get married, imagine you get married to this person, you realize they don't even work actually.
Now,
That's
how
when
did they
you
pay
know.
for the lobola? How did they pay for?
Yes.
How did they do all those
I
things?
wish I can show you.
You know?
Okay, discreetly, I'll show you messages because there's a video I did last time about these guys who are scammers in suits.
Yeah.
There's this woman, actually, she's based in Solwezi, of course, no identities exposed. And she told me how she got a loan. Because initially, this guy would, even give her like 5,000 here and there. So it means he's getting the 5,000 from other women. He comes to give you to build your trust.
Especially women.
And then later on, he would say, you know what, baby, that deal I told you about hasn't gone through. So are you able to borrow me like a 10 or 15 or whatever? He'd say, no, I'm going to pay you back. Because initially he was giving you 5,000. He was giving you 10,000. And you believe, say, this is a man, he's a big fish. You go, Kunchito, you borrow 100,000. He even comes and pays low. All that, guys, it's from your money. You guys, things happen.
What kind of men do you
My lecturer
so
from
that you
college
believe.
once told me that the problem is with most women is that when they see the money, they don't ask questions.
Exactly.
When as long as the money is there, they don't need to ask anything else. They assume that, whatever he's telling me is correct. But you're supposed to, because you've known this your whole life that men lie, right?
Yeah.
So you're supposed to ask yourself this question. Oh, okay, I've known that men are capable of lying. Let me try to ask other people's second opinion and find out to see if the guy I'm dealing with is actually the right guy.
This is why do you think daughters take their boyfriends or their husbands to their fathers to vet them? This is why the fathers are there to vet. It wouldn't be a father, it could be a brother, it could be an uncle, it could be a cousin, but someone who's of male figure, who's at least at that understanding and who's married. He needs to understand, so this person is good for my daughter, or this person is good for my sister, this person is good for my cousin, But this generation, because of, no, I love him so much, I won't let my father tell me what to do about it. I'll just marry him. And when you get into that, now you're like, oh shit.
But also, can we just clarify that it depends on the kind of father that you have? There are some fathers who are shut up by the money. They see a man coming, he takes them out for some drinks and stuff. They are excited with that lifestyle and think, okay, my daughter is well taken care of. They are the same ones who, even when it comes for the whole time, they're the ones who are calling out all these kind of expensive amounts, like these exorbitant amounts, saying, okay, my daughter is worth it, because they've seen money. There are fathers who are greedy.
You can
Maybe
go,
it's the wrong
you
kind of
you can use your grandfather.
But we have them amongst us.
You can use your
right?
brother.
We do have them amongst us. Even if it's your brother, it just depends on we can't say all fathers are good fathers, honestly speaking.
No,
there are
true.
some fathers who have made terrible decisions. There are fathers who lack good judgment. There are fathers who look at their daughters as commodities, but also they are good fathers. I think let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
So as much as we can say, okay, be vetted by the father, it depends on the kind of father that you have. Otherwise, but truthfully speaking, guys, the things I'm telling you about, men who are dependent on women, there are a lot. But I wish I can give that example here, but in Pamuela, I don't have a lawyer.
But anyway, before we actually dive into other topics, we've got a main topic that we're supposed to talk about that we've been wanting to talk about. So most of the time, we've heard women justify why they actually leave men, and they're actually praised for it. But we've never heard, men being justified for leaving women. We always hear, no, this man wasted this woman's time. He knew that this woman has a biological clock. She's reaching in her 30s or 40s or whatever, So the fact is that we are never heard when we say, oh, this is the reason why I left this lady. We're always punished for it. We're always shamed for it. So basically the topic today is reasons why men leave women.
So who should start first? Who wants to explain why?
I can go first.
Okay.
Okay, so there are so many different reasons, factors, issues, whatever you can call them, as to why relationships just don't work out in the end, and especially why, since we're focusing on the men leaving women this time around.
Yeah.
So I would say, I'll just mention maybe like just a few, since there are a lot we can't manage to cover everything, but I'm sure you guys also have points of your own.
Yeah.
Part of those issues would be like maybe, for example, communication issues, respect especially this is a very big and very important thing. I know this because this actually happened to me. Also things like, you know, personal growth, and also maybe some other external factors, like, you know, maybe it could be about work, it could be family, you know, friends, stress, whatever kind of other issues. So maybe let me try and explain these things I've mentioned, maybe just, you know, in a few points. So I talked about communication issues. Communication issues, really, it could be maybe lack of communication, or maybe there is actually no proper communication between the two of you. What am I talking about? So I've had friends come to me asking things like, you know, I don't really know what my man likes or what he would want, or maybe we have this kind of situation, but then I want him to be a bit more like this, that. And I would ask him, like, have you tried telling your man that? And be like, no, you know, there's just some things that, you know, he needs to realize this on his own. Like, you know, he needs to he needs to be sharp.
So maybe she starts behaving in a certain way.
Yes, trying to give you hints, like, you know, so you can,
you don't get it.
but you just don't get it. Like, okay, you know, communication is actually very, very important. How you're feeling about something, like, just talk to the person about it. It would be a different story if maybe you talk to the person about it, like your partner in this issue, and then maybe they decide to, like, maybe just ignore the whole thing. You tell them how you feel, what you want to see, and things like that. Then they're not doing that, or maybe, I don't know, then you'd be like, okay, you know what, he's just ignoring me, or maybe he's just got other priorities, other things he's looking at. So maybe that could be a deal breaker in most cases. But in a case where you feel you have to voice out something, you want certain change in the relationship, it could be maybe there's something that your man does that you don't like, and then so instead of you telling him that, you're giving him, you know, maybe this kind of attitude or certain hints, or maybe you're talking to other people, you're talking to his friends, and then hoping to say maybe he gets it in some way. I mean, men are not magicians. I mean, in this case.
What's stupid?
So
Exactly. Go ahead.
So talk to the person talk to your partner, learn to talk, like, you know, have that kind of you know, open relationship where you're able to freely talk to each other about certain things. But then in a point where you're still talking and nothing is changing, then it's okay to leave. Well, I feel that's why most men would actually leave. Like, you know, they've tried to, you know, talk to you, get your friends to talk to you, but you're not changing about, maybe it could be about your behavior, how you talk to them and things like that, and then so they would leave. The respect issue, like, you know, men, this is one thing I had to learn actually, you know, the hard way. One of my past relationships, actually, you know, you'd have to know what something is before you can actually give it. You know, there's this saying that, you know, you can't give what you don't have or what you don't know. So, like, you know, men are really, really big on respect, and this now I know. And so, like, you know, back then I was I mean I was younger then, so I didn't really know like, you know, what respect actually meant to a man and things like that. So, like, you know, my then boyfriend, like, you know, I would talk to him anyhow I wanted, I'd react in a certain way and things like that. And then with that, I didn't see anything wrong with that. But then, you know, in the end, things just couldn't work out. And he clearly told me, so, like, you know what, you just don't have respect for me. And so, you know, from there, I started, like, you know, I would, you know, I asked certain people, like, you know, I'd consult, I would read, and I've seen quite a lot of things, like, you know, both online and whatever, maybe articles, and just what respect really does mean to a man. Well, it doesn't matter about his status in society, where he, you know, he's at and whatever, but just respect that person as a person. And I think that is really, really big. And so if you don't have that, and, you know, no matter how beautiful you may be, no matter how, like, you know, independent, you know, you have your own businesses, you're doing well, but if you just don't respect your man as a man, he's just gonna leave.
Exactly.
You know? And also, I talked about other things, like, you know, maybe
Growth.
About growth, yes. So it could be like, maybe, you know, you enter a relationship into a relationship with a certain person. It could be a man this time around, yes. So and then, you know, there are people who've come out to say, you know, this person just wasted my time. Like, you know, they knew me and then they ghosted me, and, you know, they just wasted my time. Why didn't they tell me this, that? It could be that person actually did get to know you, yes, and they didn't like what you had to offer, so they left. So us talking about growth here is that, okay, so maybe let's say you are dating, you start to date this person, you get to learn a bit more about them, who they are as a person, how they think, how they reason, how they handle certain issues, how they handle pressure and things like that. And so when you outgrow this person, in a sense that most of how they respond to things is not something that, you know, you align with, something that, you know, you want, or be like, okay, you could do better, you know. And then they just don't seem to change, or it's just, there are certain kind of people who tell you sometimes, or even answer it, say like, this is just who I am, so you have to put up with it. And so if you really just can't, they're just, relationships are about like, compromising. You have to compromise.
Exactly.
Like, you have to learn to be, you
Thank
have to
you.
understand each other. And if that's not there, it's not working, you are going to be growing, and I'll still be here because I want to be me. Like, we'll be like, okay, you know what, this is who I am, and this is who my friends know me to be. So if you can't work with that,
Then
I'll just leave.
Thank you.
there's something I wanted to share in the same line of growth, because I was waiting for you to get to that point. There's another form of growth that I want to bring in. I'm sure some of the people who follow me for some time, I talked about how young girls need to give time to their boyfriends, and a lot of people complain to say, why should I stay with a man and grow with him, because most likely he's going to leave me after he grows. And there's something I really shared around that to say, if you are with a man who's responsible, he's young, you are both young people and you're starting together, it's important or very imperative that as a girl or a lady, you're also growing with a man. And that means you cannot just sit out there to say, okay, when he's done with university, he's going to marry me and I'll be a wife, and that's it. That's your ambition, that's your dream. Your end goal is because you're with this man, let him put in the work, let him attend a highest level of education, and then he's going to just look after you and the kids. It might even be in a home setup. I mean, your husband is aspiring for more. He's pushing, like he's getting upgraded at work, and you're just like, a simple housewife. There's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom, respect to that, but a woman also has to be pushing. You have to be ambitious. You have to have your own goals. There are things that you're achieving along the way, because with more exposure, someone, like you're saying, you stop relating. You can start at the same level. Maybe your reasoning was the same, but imagine this man is now sitting on the, amongst the board of directors. His language has now changed. He's traveling around the world. The people that he's associating with has changed, and you still remain the same version of a woman he married 10 years ago. Obviously, he's going to see another woman who's doing better, and he starts thinking, well, maybe I'm losing out. My wife is a drawback. I've heard some men who said, my wife is a drawback. You find some of the men would want to upgrade you. Like, they try to encourage you, say, go to school. You're not interested at all. They say, okay, go and learn a skill. Maybe go to driving school. The women who are just so limited with what they can do, and sorry to use this word, they're so timid. Some of them would just still want to be timid. Their husband has elevated. They are just comfortable. And with education, there's mindset. And education, I just don't mean you going to school, like maybe university. You can get a skill, do something that you love. Just be out there. Try to improve yourself, the way you look, the way you dress. Because again, with age, women, we tend to, there's something about us that changes. The way the man married me 10 years ago is not the same way I'm going to look right now. And we neglect that aspect of us. So. And men are visual by nature. Let's just be realistic. So you always have to up your game in the way that you look, the way that you conduct yourself. I mean, because you always want this man to still be attracted to you. Of course, there'll be times here and there where that attraction will be there. But I think you get what I'm trying to say when it comes to growth. So improve yourself as a person. It might be personal goals, it might be family goals, it might be the way that you look. Go to the gym, guys. Who gym So
Please.
Those kind of things.
Thank you for bringing that up. You need to go to the gym, at least go and work out, so that you look good for that
or
man
just
that
go
has
for a
reached that
dancing
level.
lesson.
True.
Don't be a boring.
Exactly.
Because you know what motivates a guy to go to the gym?
Yeah.
Maybe one of his friends will come to him and say, bro, you look ugly, you look fat. That will inspire him and say, that's why I can't get the girls.
Exactly.
Boom, he goes to the gym.
Exactly.
But with women, with some girls, is that when they get the attention without working for it, that doesn't really motivate them.
For who I am.
Exactly. That doesn't really motivate them to go to the gym and all that, to maintain the figure that they've been admired for. And all that.
You talked about compromise. A lot of women don't want to compromise. That's the thing, because in their heads that they watch all these Disney movies, they watch all these Netflix, all these. They listen to Megan Thee Stallions and say, if a man can't accept you for who you are, it's best that you find another man. But how many men are you going to keep on jumping?
To add on to that is that not only that, is that the amount of attention they receive from other men.
Exactly.
Well. Because a lot of women receive DMs like texts saying, oh no, I can do this for you, I can do that for you. And she's just going to turn and look at her man and say, this guy is useless. All these men are promising me all this, meaning he's the problem, not me, because they put me on a pedestal. I'm perfect. I don't need to change. So meaning he's the problem.
Yeah. Now the question is, you need to ask yourself, is those men who are DMing me in the inbox, do they want to settle down with me? Because I remember there was a story about 5 months ago. This woman was married to her husband for 5 years, and this was in Zambia. She was married to her husband for 5 years, and then her friend, her single friend, got into her mind and told her to say, this man is useless. This man doesn't do this for you. I think there are other men that want you. And what did she do? She filed for divorce. And of course, the statistics always say that 80% of women are the ones that file for divorce due to hearing or listening to their friends. So when she did that, what happened? She started sleeping with guys, and just to find out that her friend actually got married. And then the person she slept with refused to marry her. And what did she decide to do? She tried to come back to the husband, and the husband was like, bruh, I told you that these men will use you, but no, you didn't want to listen. You know?
I completely agree around that, and it's really just that spirit of competition. There are certain, it's not all women, but I know there's quite a lot of competition amongst women ourselves, and sometimes we even lie to each other. You'd say, okay, you know, my boyfriend is doing ABC. Just a few days ago, like maybe yesterday or the other day, I got a message from one of my followers, and she was saying, you know, I am dating this guy, and you know, he gives me just the basics, but my friends have, you know, they are spoiled because they are dating guys who are well-to-do.
And that's
you know,
the problem.
they are dating guys who, some of them are married men, and they're spoiling them, and they're telling me that I'm losing out because I have all this beauty, I've got yada yada. But my man is a good man, so what do you think I should do? I was just saying, you know what, comparison is a thief of all joy, because you don't know, apart from the material things that your friends have, you might end up losing a good man, you know, as long as he's able to provide for you the basics. And I think you remember there's another story I shared a few weeks ago where a girl was saying, you know, he gets an 8,000, he only gives me he give me a 500 girlfriend allowance, but you know, my friends are given more money. So sometimes it comes with comparison, and what that does then is that it makes you start putting pressure on your man. We've seen this even in marriages where a wife will go to the neighbor, they've bought a new carpet, she sees time they bought a new car, she goes to the husband, you know, in the next house, see, that's just last week they bought a new carpet, just the other week they bought a car, no, by me, what's going on? And they start feeling like, okay, the husband is not doing too much. And some men, because they get too much under that pressure, they decide to just find someone else who's going to accommodate them within their means. So as long as the man is trying,
because instead what you should do is that if you see another couple doing way better than probably you and your husband and all that, you should be motivated and inspired and say, let me motivate my man so that I can inspire him to reach that level even better than the guys I'm envious of.
Because look, most women have no idea.
Why did you change that statement?
I know, it's because of the way Karen looked at me. So I decided to change it. So most women have no idea. Yeah, she did. She scared me for a moment. I was like, oh my God. You know? So most women have no idea the kind of power God has placed upon them. They have no idea that they are here to motivate men to become better. Just a simple baby, you can make it, I believe in you, is already enough for him to get out of bed at 6 and go out there and hustle. You think those men in town who wash cars, you think they gather up together and say, guys, let's get some 20 kwachas, 50 kwachas, because let's oppress these women. These women have no idea what we've been through. No, they are there to actually help out and provide for their families. Because I remember when I was in town, when I was working in town, this guy entered the car and we started driving, and he says, I know what people think about me. I was like, what? So he said, I know what people think about me. They think that's because I earn these 20 kwachas, I go and drink with my friends. Do you know I've got 3 kids at home? I was like, bro, what? I've got 3 kids at home. This is what I do. I save up money. I give to my wife. My wife is very happy for the things that I've done, but it doesn't mean that I should be comfortable. I come here at 6 hours just to see which cars I can wash and whatnot. So the fact is that a lot of women cannot appreciate what the men are doing for them because of what they're seeing on social media. Oh, this girl's going to Dubai, you know, because this girl, just hold on. This girl has got an iPhone 15 Pro Max, you know, but my man is not doing that. So it leads now to desperation. It leads to now disrespect, like you said, and it leads to lack of appreciation. So lack of appreciation is you don't sit back and say, baby, I know you've worked this hard. I appreciate you for for the things that you've done. So, but I believe that there are more things that you can do. Maybe you can do this and that. This is why you said that women need to educate themselves as well. They need to elevate their mind. They need to know how to speak to their men. Because you cannot sit back as a woman and say, he needs to accept me for who I am. No, compromise. If it means you going to school, it means you doing research on social media, do that so that your man can also benefit. Relationships is about two people. It is not about one person. You know, it's about the other compromising for the other. Let's say a man would want 5 women. But because that woman he's dating says, I'm not going to tolerate that, he's going to compromise. But the woman should also say, I want a man who can buy me a Benz right now. But my man can't do that now. But how do I make him get to that level? Is by speaking, you know, speaking into his dreams. That way he's going to wake up and make sure he's going to work hard for that.
Because I remember I was on a phone call with some chick the other day, right? So I was kind of like testing her. So I asked her, okay, how would you feel if a guy decided to take you out for lunch for Hungry Lion? You Hungry Lion, I can get that any day of the week. Blah, 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 blah. I would rather you maybe take me to a fancy restaurant or hotel. So I was like, this is the kind of girl I have to deal with. Sad.
But I mean, okay, on a side note, it depends on where you find the woman, like at what stage you find that woman.
But you know what's so funny about that is that she was portraying herself as a church girl, all that. But now I'm like, but what I'm seeing is not what I'm experiencing.
Every girl should have standards, but there's something I wanted to say.
Yeah, please, Azariah.
On that one, everyone has standards, honestly speaking, and it depends at what level you find a person. I mean, honestly speaking, if I'll probably give the same answer if someone asked me for Hungry Lion. But anyway, that's just
so. But if I was to take you out and say, let's go now,
I would definitely
I
understand completely, but I just wanted to
because let's face it.
Let her finish.
Okay.
Yes,
I want to so I wanted to put a spin on it when we were talking about, of course we talked about, you know, some women who are not content. But I also feel there are certain sections of men, and I say that categorically, there are certain sections of men who get very comfortable with little success. But then they are married to women who are not comfortable enough with the bare minimum. You know, and that becomes a problem because there's that dynamic. This is one woman who really is aspiring for more. But the husband is just so comfortable. The boyfriend is so comfortable, you know, with the life you're going to, you are, at least you're affording the basics, you are renting just the house there, you know, your kids are going to just this normal school, but the wife is looking far, she wants more, but the husband is not pushing, or the boyfriend is not pushing. So I feel like sometimes it creates that dynamic, and maybe because of that challenge the man would decide to leave, you know, because maybe they are looking at a woman who wants to attain more in life, who has these higher standards, you know. So again, it might look a bit bad on the side of the woman, but girls have standards. So if you can't meet,
no, everyone's got standards.
Everybody does have standards, yes. But then, you know, there's just this layered line of vision, I would say, that social media has really put out there to what standards should be, and people following that, I think, is what has actually ruined most of like, you know, people's lives, relationships, perception of different things. Because if you're going to go on social media, really, and I'm looking at people, also it depends who your role models are, really, because, you know, the people you're actually following, listening to, you know, their advice, these are people who, simply because something has worked for one person does not mean it's going to work for the other person. Like, you know, people are different like that, and so is life. So the standards that it's okay to have standards, yes, as a person. You need to know what you want and what you're about in life. That's really okay. But, like, you know, putting things or certain standards that just seem to be, like, even to you talking about them just seems to be like, you know, like, where do you even get these things from? Like, you know, you need to be like,
can I maybe just clarify when I gave that example, right? I'll give an example. Like, you've been in a marriage for, let's say, 10 years. You are still renting. You get decent money where you can build your own house, you know, as a family. But there are just men who are very, very comfortable with still renting for 10 years, for 15 years. They're just waiting for pension, you know, and you know that that's a bit risky, because as you go older, or as you grow older, you need to settle in your own home at least, or even if it's farm life, but at least you have something that you want, because you'll not always be in employment. But then you find that you're married to somebody who doesn't want to push towards that direction. I think those are kind of standards I'm talking about more realistically. You know, you look at how your kids look. Your husband can afford, or you can afford like having a decent life if you put in a bit more work, maybe having a side hustle, or maybe even getting a bit more education so that you can have like a promotion of some sort. But the husband is still complacent. He doesn't want to do any of those things. And you know, your kids, it's just hand to mouth, nothing really. That's a bit risky to live. And I think I just needed to clarify, I'm talking about those more realistic standards that are quite, that give you a bit more settled life, not the social
like,
media.
no, I want the man who does
No,
this,
no,
who's
no,
already
no,
this,
no,
who's
no.
already that.
No,
Or some Cinderella
like,
stuff.
No.
Yeah, like, you know, in as much as okay, it's okay to want stuff. It's okay to want to claim things. We're human beings. Like, you know, I would go outside, maybe see something, maybe a dress I would see on a person, be like, oh, you know what, I love that dress. I think it's nice. You know, it would look good on me and whatever. It's okay to do that, but can I afford the dress?
No.
You know, how am I going to get that dress?
Yeah.
You know, such kind of things you should be
Work
able to.
hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, because in as much as it's just about talking about like, you know, men leaving women here, but then also it's a two-way thing. A relationship, a marriage, whatever it is, it's supposed to be a two-way thing. A man can only do so much. Yes, he's supposed to be providers and, you know, here and there, but like, you know, you being together, let's say a man is working and you are also working, the narrative of you know, his money is ours but mine is just mine, really also this kind of set things back a little bit and has ruined things actually to some extent. Because to say, let's say we are both working, so why should I only look up to him to be able to build that house? Why aren't we doing this together? Since, you know, maybe
We're
at this
both
point
working.
we're even married actually. So why aren't we putting things together? So because this would have been our goals, right? But then I also talked about communication earlier. Communication really is not just about you telling your man what you want, but then communication is about what he should do, what he should be, how he should be, and things like that. It's about like, you know, you're getting to know each other, right? So you can't tell me you get married to somebody even after 10 years and then you say, but he's not changing, he's not doing this, he seems to be comfortable. What would you have talked about first of all when you were getting to know each other? Because had you talked about the right things and not just to impress each other with unnecessary things, you would have known to say, this person is, you know, his mind is like this. This is how he thinks. You know, what kind of goals is he really after? What kind of a life does he really want? So you would have actually known that from the very beginning. And so you'd not say like, okay, is this the kind of person I'd want to carry on with? Like, you know, do I even go on a second date with this person? Or do I just like, you know...
This is why I say premeditated expectations leads to resentment. So if you as a woman are thinking that this man should read my mind, whether you're married or whether you're dating, and you don't communicate it out of your mouth, you're going to start resenting the person. And this is what there are a lot of women I've sat down with, right? I have told them, okay, have you expressed yourself to this man? No, he's supposed to know. How is he supposed to know when he can't read your mind? We're not mind readers. Look, a lot of men, we're not stupid, right? That's because you come in with nice makeup and a cool outfit. You think, oh, because I'm a good woman, this man should accept me for who I am because I've done all this. There's more to that. This is why you always find that men would leave women they'll cheat with other women who are not better looking than your wife. And you wonder why. It's because of certain aspects. There are certain things she provided in a man's life that the woman never provided. You know, because one, the woman never said anything. She never voiced out her opinions. Right. And when I mean voice out, I don't mean her shouting, nagging, all that stuff. And that is one of the reasons why men leave women, is because of nagging. You are not effectively communicating with your man. You're out there nagging. Hey, Wabanda, you don't even want to clean. You don't even want to take out the trash. You don't even want to provide. What is wrong with you? We've got 5 kids. You don't... Relax. You need to sit down with that man and say, my husband, I've been wondering, what's been going on with you? You've been sleeping all day. You've been drinking. You've been shan. That way, that calm, feminine voice of yours will now allow him to sit back and speak and say, this is what's happening with me. This is why whenever we are with the boys will not attack us. We will chill, say, I can call Lazi, yo, Lazi, I think we should hang out. Let's go for a drink or two. He'll be like, yeah, let's go. But in his head, he knows, why has DC called me this time? Maybe there's something up with him, you know? Then I'll hang out with him, we'll talk, and then he'll ask me, yo, what's wrong? I'll be like, dude, it's been rough. I need a job. I need this. I need connections. I'm unable to connect with this. I'm unable to find a job. The connections have been hard. Oh, they've been hard. Oh, okay. Have you spoken to your wife about this? I know she keeps on nagging, man. This is why most of the time you always wonder why it takes a man, whenever he arrives home, it takes him 15 minutes to enter in the house. Because now he's trying to adjust.
Prepare he's gonna find his
himself.
Or he takes a detour before going home and decides to stick it. Someone once told me this.
Yeah.
He just opened it up himself.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, Laz? Sometimes after work, before I go home, I just go straight to the bar and I just sit. He doesn't even buy the drink. He just sits. He thinks.
Why?
Then he goes back. Then he stands back and goes back.
You know why? It's because the woman did not create a safe space for that man.
It's not
When
all
a
the time.
man, when a man truly opens up, and when he really opens up, and that woman uses that against him to prove a point and win, there is no way that man will ever open up to her again. And you always wonder why most men would go quiet, and you say, no, this man is shut down, this man doesn't talk to me. It's because you never gave him that space of vulnerability to open up and talk about the things that he's been feeling all these years.
Realistically,
yes, the job might be
that
good.
might be the case, but in what can I say? Like in reality, I don't think that's what happens. Honestly speaking, so for example, I talked about the woman having more aspirations than the husband, right? I talked about that, and obviously we're talking about communication. Guys, I hang around people who are married, so I'm talking about this from that point of experience where I have friends who are married, I've got sisters who are married, I hang around people who are married, and sometimes it's not even just about the communication. It might be characteristics, it might be traits, it might be different things. And so what I'm trying to say over that comment is that we cannot really say that a man who doesn't want to go home because he's come from work and stays in the car, it's because the wife is nagging. It's not always the case. And remember, we had that conversation some time back where we were saying a nagging wife doesn't just want to nag all the time. Of course, there are women who are naggers, but there are women who nag because there's something that they're trying to communicate, but maybe they haven't been given that room.
Sit down effectively.
You're not dealing with a one man. You're dealing with different personalities. There are men who don't open that. There are men who don't open that platform for communication. I'm telling you, you're talking about a realistic man in your mind, like realistically.
You know why?
But these are people. People have personalities. People have characters. You cannot say Laz is the same way as DC. Women are not married to the same men. Women are not dating the same man, guys. Let's understand that.
No, true.
Okay?
I get that.
Even when we say communication, realistically, let's just say that is a good approach. But there are some men who are not just having it. Or like the example I gave about a man not trying to, being ambitious. There are men who are just procrastinators. They'll tell you, no, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow you're attending at 1 week. Tomorrow, 1 year. No, let's buy a plot. The wife has even removed the money. The money is here. Where's your money? Let me give you tomorrow. So I don't know. Are you telling me that's no communication? Are you going to drag a man and say, give me your bank card, let me go and withdraw the money?
No, we're not saying all men. Look, we're not saying all men are good or all men need to communicate. Yes, we're being realistic. But as we're speaking for the men that do, right? We're speaking for those men.
Both. So that some can actually have.
If they don't want to listen and they don't want to grow, I mean, that's their fault. Let them stay there as failures, okay?
Yeah, but
for
those
us,
who are procrastinators should change.
They are those guys who reach over 50, forget about them, But for those people that want to change, believe you me, those are the people we're speaking to. That's why I say that women sometimes need to sit down and listen and understand what the man is going through, especially men between the ages of 20 to 30 go through a midlife crisis that most women don't really understand. So they're out there thinking, no, this man, I've dated him for 5 years, 10 years, and he doesn't want to marry me. You have no idea what's happening. Probably he's unable to support you, unable to pay for lobola, So the fact is that this is why you have men that borrow money to pay for that wedding or lobola, and he ends up in debt while married to the woman, and the woman now creates resentment for the man, and the man is wondering, but this is what you wanted. Why didn't you want to? Why aren't you happy? Now I've got debt over 100,000, and what happens? He's now struggling. He's thinking, And where does that mindset go? Suicide. And then you wonder, this man didn't speak up. No, it's because the woman you nagged. You didn't give me time to open up, you know. So it's very difficult for a man to definitely open up and let the woman understand. I've seen men, and I'm part of it as well. You find that it will take me 4 or 5 years for me to be truly myself towards my woman. Why? It's because it's a common trait for women not to really understand what men are going through. You know who really understand? My father, my uncles, and my brother. You definitely understand and say, oh, yo, DC, don't worry, you know, things are going to get well. We're going to do this. I'm like, yeah, let's have that motivation. Let's do this, you know. But for a woman, it's more like, and I'm not saying all women. I'm saying most women, that they would sit back and think to themselves and say, but yeah, man, Chanda Brian's able to excel to this level. Why can't you excel to that level? Me and Chanda Brian are not the same. God's time is not is very different from Chanda Brian to mine, and that's what most women are not taught. You've got Megan Thee Stallions, you've got Cardi B's, you've got I only want to mention this Zambian influencer, but we've got women telling young girls. I don't have money for a lawyer.
You don't need to mention the name. We know who you're talking about.
Exactly. So you've got all these influencers confusing the young generation of women and telling them that if a man who's 18, 21, 25 is unable to reach the standards of Cristiano Ronaldo, then you should dump him. He's not serious.
Especially the people that are being targeted with such ideas are people who come from broken homes.
Exactly.
That's very dangerous.
Exactly. You know, and
I think now it's even widespread, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people are getting influenced by social media, and sometimes it doesn't even matter the kind of home someone comes from. It just depends on what they see and the kind of people that they hang around. There are a lot of stories that we hear, especially in reference to what you were talking about, of girls wanting their boyfriends, especially in their early age, to to be like their ideal person that they see on social media, which is quite unrealistic. And I think you do remember there's that video I shared about giving chance and time to these guys, because you might not know their full potential. So again, I wasn't referring to the young men who are like trying in this stage. I think I had like, I was looking at a bit more old, and that's why my reference mostly was around like a marriage setup. But if we are referring to younger men, I think it's important to give them some grace, because you cannot really know the full potential of a man within their early 20s and early 30s.
True.
People are different, and also
before you go, when you got a couple of minutes left, Lazi, you've got a message.
Yeah, I got a message that surprised me. Yeah, but I want you guys' opinion on it. Okay. So the message goes by saying, "Hi guys. I'm a 26-year-old man from Accra, Ghana. I met this lady on Facebook. We started interacting when she made a comment under a post, and I replied to it. We began to insult each other back to back. Later, we made up and became friends. We have been talking every day on Facebook and have become very close, that I find it hard to be happy without her. Through our chat, she told me she was 24 years old. So I thought I had found the right one, until later she confessed to me that she is actually 54 years old and single. Although I haven't confessed my true feelings for her, but I do love her, especially her voice. What should I do? Her voice is very charming, and I love to hear her talk every day, but her age, guys, please help me."
How old is the guy again?
50,
they met
26.
Like in person?
No. They've just been interacting.
Yes. Okay. And the lady is 54.
Okay.
So she lied she was 24. So what must he do?
Because he likes her very much.
They've never even met.
No.
Don't like. I think go first. I'm trying to organize my thoughts because I'm
also trying to, but at the same time, guys. Okay, I mean, sometimes it could be like maybe your idea of a person. You think you like something that maybe they have told you, but is not really there. It's a different thing to date online. Like, you could be dating online maybe for like a year or something like that. You're just talking to this person. So this person could easily be somebody else. They're telling you things that you want to hear, showing you things that you want to see. You have not met this person. But then when you meet them in reality, you get to have, a one-on-one with them. You sit down, you have heart-to-heart conversations and stuff. You realize this person is actually very, very very different from what they say. Like, you know, when someone is behind the keyboard, they're a whole different person. But like, you know, you get to see how they think, how they reason, how they react to certain things, and you just it just can't be. Age there is not even the thing. But I feel this person is actually, the woman is actually grown. She's 54, so she actually knows what kind of language to use when speaking to this boy. Because she knows what he would want. You know, boys around his age, men around his age, you know, they want certain things, they want to hear certain things, see certain things. So she knows, she's more experienced. So she's probably just leading this guy on, telling him what he thinks he wants to hear and everything else. Meanwhile, this is something that he'll probably never even see.
So it's basically like a manipulation
and I know
thing.
you said age doesn't matter, but I always, even when it comes to
I think
dating,
it matters.
No, I'm saying, I
We've
thought
got a
you
couple
said
of
age
minutes,
doesn't matter.
so we can
I always
wind
have
up.
this comment, and I'll just make it very brief. Like, what does a 26-year-old person have with in common with a 50-something-year-old in terms of a relationship? Honestly speaking, that baffles me. Whether it's a male or female, that equation doesn't really.
Maybe experience.
Unless you're
someone who's
chasing,
like your
the
mother.
bag, really.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. Honestly, sorry to say.
That's now.
Unless you're chasing the bag, like
no,
you say.
no. Even though
But
you're
if-
chasing the bag, please, you need to have a future as a man with a woman.
As a chola
Success.
You know,
No,
they-
nowadays, like a chola matters more than
you-
anything else. So if
Kupa
you're
pia chola
after
mtu
the bag,
yeah.
I mean, he didn't speak about money right there.
No,
he just spoke about
maybe,
connection.
maybe.
I'm just saying,
Yes.
maybe he doesn't even know if
Yeah.
whether or not she has the
But
money.
there's
You know, but
nothing
then she's,
there.
like I said, she's more experienced. She's 54. He's
Yeah.
in his 20s. So
Yeah.
you know, and you know this thing they say, like, you know, men actually mature a bit. Like, you know, they're sort of like late bloomers.
Yeah.
You know, so she knows what he wants
Yeah.
at his age, what he's looking for,
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
And so at first he mentioned to say she lied about her age.
Yeah.
She thought, or maybe somewhere within the same age range, but then she's way older than him than she is. So she's more experienced than he is. So
Yeah.
she knows what to tell him and when,
Yeah.
you know, and how he would feel or react to that.
Amazing. So anyway, we're about to end. I wish we could actually,
Extend
prolong
our
the episode.
conversation.
Yeah. But anyway, our topic was why men leave women. So I've got quick pointers here. So the reasons why men leave women is boredom. So men love women that add joy to their lives, not making them angry all the time. Second reason is lack of appreciation and affection. You know, this encourages men to actually seek an outside relationship if they feel the current partner isn't showing any affection towards them. Third is lack of respect. This one is actually a big thing. You know, some women tend to call their partners abusive names and even bad mouthing them. When that happens, a man has no reason but to leave. You know. Fourth is nagging. You know, this is a great turn off for most men. When a woman nags, the man feels like a child, and he tends to just seek, another relationship outside. Last but not the least, lack of sex. This is a big thing. Lack of sex. Sex is actually a very important in a romantic relationship between a man and a woman. Men are actually driven by the desire to reproduce and find emotional satisfaction with the woman they love. And this is actually a bonus tip. The reason why, or a bonus, reason why men leave women is having too many male friends. I'll not even explain that further. Too many male friends as a woman is bad. That's why men tend to seek other women outside who don't even have any connection with men. Only their father and their brother and their cousin
Let's
and
be
me.
realistic.
So anyway, we're about to close the show. So it's been great. It's been awesome. It's been amazing. I'm DC, and I've been joined by Laz, my co-twin brother, and the two lovely ladies, Karen and Azariah. So it's been great. It's been amazing. Make sure to like our page on Facebook. That is Men's Conference Podcast. And make sure to actually subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is the Men's Conference Podcast. And follow us on TikTok as well. That's easy as that. So have a great week and enjoy the rest of the show.